role that I want to be going for in the industry is vehicleized. Throughout my time at university, I have most enjoyed the work I have done when it comes to vehicles, and I believe it to be my strongest skill. Following from this, I think a prop artist is another good role. The way I work is slower than most people, however when I'm focused on just the one thing, my work improves greatly, as you can see with the supply create I created from Monster Hunter series. This is all evident in my showreel. As you can see, the majority of my work is a singular piece and either a vehicle or a prop. The thing that I am most proud of in my portfolio is the Mauler Fiend I created for my dissertation. I honestly think that the whole process was an incredible learning experience. It showed me that I can focus when it really comes to it and enforce the fact that I really do enjoy what I'm doing. Furthermore, it helped me to realize that I really enjoy the creative process taken for creating vehicles. I was honestly surprised at how it came out. I thought such a complex model would take a bit longer than it actually did. However, I feel the texture on the final model isn't my best work. Following the Mauler Fiend, I really am quite proud of the supply chest from Monster Hunter. I feel that because I made this at the start of the semester, a lot of pressure seen later on in the semester from deadlines and such was off. I spent more time than I probably should have on the model, and I think it really shows. The process really made me experiment and discover new tools like Dedo, discover new sculpting techniques in ZBrush, and some new texturing techniques in Photoshop. The Mauler Fiend process started with reference gathering, taking photos from Games Workshop's website. I even went out and spent some money myself on the actual model from Games Workshop too. After this, it was a matter of setting up the reference within Maya for scale, then creating a simple blockout for the model adhering to the scale in the reference. After that, it was simply to create the base model for each part of the Mauler Fiend and UVing them as I go. Once done, the UVs were all arranged in a single UV map for the entire model. I feel that pressure once again came into play here, and the UV map itself could do with a lot of improvement. From here I began to sculpt the high poly for the Mauler Fiend, using techniques I acquired throughout my dissertation research. Once done, the model could be baked down. I used XNormal primarily to create the normal maps, but if the results weren't going my way, I would go to transfer maps within Maya. After this was all finished, I could start texturing, but once again I feel pressure reared its ugly head again, and the texture wasn't up to a standard that I know I'm capable of. I think on the most part I underestimated the amount of time you need to put into creative processes in the 3D industry, a skill I feel will come with more practice. The texture, however, could be improved with the use of shaders, but shaders aren't an area I feel too confident in myself. I think shaders I used within Marmoset did improve the model, but perhaps with a bit more research I could improve it further. As for the supply chests from Monster Hunter, the process was fairly similar. Not much of a blockout was needed as it's more or less a box itself. A low poly was created, a high poly sculpted and baked down, a texture created through the use of Photoshop and Dedo. I think the tutorials I used from 3D Motive really helped me shine through with this one. I think if I'm really honest with myself, I'm least proud of the XCon scene I created for the A3D module. I feel not enough time and attention was paid to it as it should have. I included the scene because even though I'm least proud of it, it has to be good enough for the A3 module itself, therefore it should be good enough for my showreel. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. If I had the knowledge I have now, I know I would have done a lot of things differently. I feel like I got my dissertation right, however. Even since last year I've known that I wanted to do a vehicle from the Warhammer 40k universe. But for my other modules, I always felt, in a word, pressured to make an environment for every one of them. If I was to go back and do the modules over, I would completely focus on vehicles and props. For instance, I could perhaps spend a lot of time on a vehicle with a complementary diorama for A3D rather than an entire environment. Coming to think of it, the thought of making an environment is pretty scary to me. And for PPD, I would have maybe done a series of prop studies, which to be fair I almost ended up doing this year with the Monster Hunter chest. The main thing I have learned is where I would like to specialise within this industry. Traditionally with me, I have shown to figure out what I want often when it's too late. and it seems to have happened again this year. It's a flaw that I hope I am getting better with, and perhaps if my decision making was better at the start of the year, my work would have been a lot better.